Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, has launched a series of severe accusations against the United Kingdom, claiming British intelligence is directly supervising Ukrainian military operations against Russian territory. In a meeting of security chiefs from Commonwealth of Independent States (CIS) countries in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, FSB Director Alexander Bortnikov alleged that a major Ukrainian drone assault in the summer, known as Operation Spiderweb, was coordinated under the direct supervision of British intelligence. Bortnikov stated that this coordinated June drone strikes targeted 5 Russian military airfields, housing strategic bombers thousands of kilometers apart. An operation he claimed was managed by the UK ahead of Russian-Ukrainian peace talks in Istanbul. The FSB chief further accused British intelligence of being involved in the subsequent media coverage, claiming the UK backed the operation with propaganda by feeding the media false claims of huge damage and attributing the sabotage solely to Ukrainian forces. Ukrainian sources, however, have indicated the operation was highly successful, with the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, stating that more than 100 drones launched from inside Russia was used in the attack, which destroyed or damaged dozens of aircraft, including long-range bombers used in missile strikes on Ukraine. The allegations extended beyond the summer attacks, with Bortnikov warning of imminent threats to critical energy infrastructure. He explicitly blamed Britain's Special Air Service, SAS, and the MI6 intelligence agency for planning a recent deadly Ukrainian drone strike on the Caspian Pipeline Consortium, a key oil project backed by major multinationals. Perhaps more significantly, the FSB chief issued a warning that British and Ukrainian intelligence were actively plotting an attack on TurkStream, the sole remaining pipeline delivering Russian natural gas to European markets. This pipeline is a critical piece of energy infrastructure for Russia, and any threats to its operation carries significant economic and geopolitical consequences. Bortnikov provided no specific details or evidence to support these allegations, which were made before an audience of regional security counterparts. British officials have consistently dismissed previous Russian accusations of direct involvement in Ukrainian military operations as disinformation. In response to a perceived increase in Russian aerial incursions, the European Union is moving forward with ambitious plans to strengthen its defensive capabilities. The European Commission is discussing a new counter-drone initiative, part of a broader defense policy roadmap presented recently. The proposal, which has been championed by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen as a drone wall, aims to protect European Union airspace from Russian violations. The concept has since evolved into a broader European drone defense initiative that envisions a continent-wide web of anti-drone systems. According to the draft plans, the new anti-drone capabilities are slated to reach an initial capacity by the end of 2026 and become fully operational by the end of 2027. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas emphasized the urgency of the project, stating, "Drones are already redefining warfare. Having drone defense is no longer optional for anyone." She confirmed the 2027 target for a fully operational system, framing it as part of a drive to toughen defense against Russia and be fully prepared for possible conflict by 2030. The geopolitical standoff is further complicated by a war of words over a recent mysterious drone sighting across Europe. Russia's FSB chief, in a reversal of the EU's concern, accused NATO intelligence agencies of staging provocation involving unidentified drones over EU territory to frame Russia and justify increased military spending. Bortnikov claimed that these incidents were orchestrated by NATO Special Service as part of their campaign against Russia. This accusation comes after several European countries, including Poland, Romania, Denmark, Estonia, and Germany, reported unauthorized drone incursions, though confirmation that the drones were sent by the Kremlin has not been established. While some European politicians and military experts suggest Russia is testing NATO's capabilities and sowing discords, other analysts noted it is possible the incursions were not deliberate. Amid these tensions, NATO is testing integrated systems to detect, track, and neutralize aerial threats, with the EU stressing that its new defensive flagship project would be developed in close coordinations with the alliance and would not duplicate NATO's work. The allegations from the FSB come at a time of heightened military and political maneuvers, particularly concerning the potential supply of advanced weaponry to Ukraine. A new report from the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, has indicated that if President Donald Trump approved the transfer of US Tomahawk missile to Ukraine, nearly 2,000 Russian targets could fall within Kyiv's operational range. These targets, ranging from the Angels Air Base to the Shahid drone plant in Tatarstan, are critical to Russia's war machine, and the Tomahawk's 2,500-kilometer range could significantly impact Russian military capabilities. The Kremlin has reacted strongly, labeling such a move a new stage of escalation, highlighting the potential for a dangerous shift in the conflict's dynamics. Despite these warnings, Washington maintains that providing these missiles could be a significant game changer, especially if diplomatic effort to achieve peace fail. As President Trump weighed this crucial decision, Russian President Vladimir Putin faces a complex and dangerous strategic dilemma, balancing military objectives with the implications of an escalated conflict. The prospect of Tomahawk missiles entering the Ukrainian arsenal adds a substantial layer of complexity to the ongoing geopolitical tensions, potentially reshaping the battlefield and strategic calculations for both sides. Amid these developments, U.S. Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth has issued a firm warning to Moscow, stating that the United States and its allies are prepared to impose costs on Russia for its continued aggression if the war in Ukraine does not cease. President Donald Trump confirmed his intention to discuss weapons, including Tomahawk missiles, during his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This meeting is pivotal, as it could determine the future course of military aid to Ukraine. Secretary Hegseth also emphasized that the U.S. expects NATO allies to increase their purchases and donations of American weapons to Ukraine, stressing that an increase in firepower would be beneficial. These remarks were made ahead of a defense minister meeting at NATO headquarters, where discussions centered on bolstering Ukraine's defense. However, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte clarified that while support for Ukraine remains consistent, the issue of long-range missile supplies is a bilateral matter and not being addressed at the current defense ministers' meeting. Rutte underscores that the question of which countries might supply such weapon is separated from the alliance's collective aid efforts, which include their Pearl program, already allocating $2 billion for Ukraine military support. This distinction highlights the balance between individual nations' decisions and NATO's broader strategic objective. As Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky traveled to Washington for crucial talks with President Donald Trump regarding Tomahawk missiles, Russia launched one of its most extensive aerial assault of the year against Ukraine. Over 300 drones and 37 missiles struck Ukrainian cities and energy facilities, including gas plants in Kharkiv and Poltava, causing injuries to several civilians and severely damaging power infrastructure. President Zelensky condemned these attacks as double terror, alleging the use of banned cluster munition, which further intensifies humanitarian concerns. These large-scale strikes occurred despite President Trump's recent appeal for Russia to stop killing Ukrainians, underscoring the escalating tensions leading up to the leaders' meeting. The attacks appear to be a direct response to the prospect of advanced U.S. weaponry being supplied to Ukraine, signaling Russia's intent to preempt or retaliate against such move. Meanwhile, reports have indicated that while President Trump has hinted at providing Tomahawk missiles, Ukraine may not be fully prepared to utilize them due to logistical and political hurdle. including a lack of launchers and concerns over storage and deployment of long-range weapons. This creates a complex scenario where the political will to supply advanced weapons confronts practical challenges on the ground, further complicated by President Putin's warning of escalation, setting the stage for a dangerous new phase in the ongoing conflicts. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. Considering Russia's serious accusations against the UK for orchestrating drone attacks and the potential supply of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, do you think these escalations point towards a direct confrontation between NATO powers and Russia? Or are they strategic moves to gain leverage in ongoing proxy conflicts? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.